Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Matt Klein with the preview. Hope you're doing well. Today is April 30th. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the controversy on the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets, the officiating thereof. A lot of people think that the referees are working for the Warriors, that they're on the payroll, or some kind of nonsense like that, and that the Rockets did not have any of their calls go their way, especially their three-point shots that were fouled. And there were a couple instances where Draymond Green and Klay Thompson definitely fouled the Rockets. I'm not sure who it was. James Harden, Chris Paul, Eric Gordon, their common three-point shooters on their teams were definitely fouled a few times. And I want to address this because I think, first of all, we all know how hard the referees work, that they're 99% of the time accurate with their calls, but we need to remember that they're not robots and that they're not perfect. However, I think that there's something to be said for their decisions. Now, I cannot sit here as a news reporter, as a up-and-coming sports journalist who is still in school right now and learning about this industry through the eyes of the media, through the way that they allow it to be seen through us, through watching it on TV and keeping up, just like a lot of you who are listening to this right here. It is difficult to actually be in the mind of a referee. And for myself, I started watching hockey. Hockey was the first sport that I really paid attention to. And one thing that they do in hockey, especially in the playoffs and overtime, is they don't call many things. They don't put people in the penalty box. They don't call penalties. There are no offenses in overtime unless it is clear as day. Unless it's a breakaway, unless it's a trip, then of course they're going to call it. But because of how important the stakes are, if you're up 104 to 101 and the opposing team is going for a three-pointer and they're fouled on it, they're gonna care quite a bit, because that's a very important situation. It's like scoring a goal to tie up the game, to possibly push it to overtime. And I think that the referees, obviously, they shouldn't be ignoring this. Obviously, when they look on the replay center to review it, they get a better understanding of what exactly just happened, because they're not thinking in the moment, it was a foul, it wasn't, I'm not sure, I'm going to do the best that I can. But we are really either calling everything or we're not calling anything. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you're focused so much on the insignificant calls that don't matter. And what should come down to the final score, if both teams, let's say in the finals, are really good, it'll come down to the team that is better at the free throw line. So call everything that matters, or don't call anything that matters. It won't change the score. I don't agree with what Colin Cohort said about Kevin Durant just needing the ball and James Harden needing the referees. I don't agree with that, absolutely. First of all, why do we feel the need to affirm how great Kevin Durant is? Yes, he's had 3 straight games where he's been averaging 40.8 points. Why do we need to have to be reminded who Kevin Durant is? I never forgot who he was. James Harden had an amazing season this year. Why all of a sudden are we not crediting that he's someone else? Yes, the playoffs bring out different animals in other people, but James Harden is still James Harden, who had that amazing season. And I'm saying that from someone who wants the Greek Freak to win MVP this year. So why are we saying these things, and for flippin' sake, especially after one game? The Warriors had a terrible game. The Rockets were not shooting, and they only lost by a single possession. To summarize, calls should be night and day, and I don't think there's anywhere in between for that. And honestly, NHL referees in overtime are the real heroes, because for one team, they're not calling anything, the crowd's upset. For the other team, they're not calling anything, and the coach is upset. Who cares? Who actually cares? If you're fouling someone and it's not called, but they foul you and it doesn't get called, that adds up to 0. So either call everything or call nothing.